Coming up, my reaction to the Brandon Cooks trade and what's going on with the Houston Texans offseason. Then I'm going to give you my argument to why Drew Brees should be on the NFL All-Decade Team list for 2010 and the real reason Antonio Brown is not going to work in the NFL ever again. Welcome to the Q Football Review. I'm your host, Q Green. Let's get right into it. Houston, we have a problem. What is going on with the Houston Texans and what is Bill O'Brien doing? It's craziness. All right. So, for those of you that haven't been following along, first of all, Bill O'Brien took one of the top wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, and he traded him away for David Johnson in his massive contract. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is probably easily one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league. Just hands down, he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. And then David Johnson, this trade would have been equal like 3 years ago. But David Johnson hasn't been an elite running back in quite some time. Injuries have caught up with him, so he hasn't been able to play a full season, and he's on that massive contract that the Arizona Cardinals just signed him for a couple of years back. And so you think he's done. You think he's done with the craziness. No. So then you think, okay, maybe they're going to draft a wide receiver, but instead they trade a second-round pick for Brandon Cooks, which I'm like, wait a minute. So you gave up your best wide receiver for an okay running back and a solid wide receiver. And so to give you an idea of what this trade was like, basically Bill O'Brien took a brand new Ferrari and traded in for an old Toyota Corolla and a spare tire. That's the way I see it. Like it's like it's ludicrous. I can't see it or interpret it any other way. So I don't know what Bill O'Brien's smoking or doing. But I will tell you this. If this season goes south in any way, shape, or form, you best believe this Bill O'Brien is gone. When you make these type of decisions and you trade away big impact players after you've had a good season and you have probably easily one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL, and you trade away his top target and this season goes south, you best believe Bill O'Brien's gone. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he got fired in the middle of the year, just because if I'm a GM and I see you trade my best asset away, you best know what you're doing. You best know what you're doing, man. So if this goes south, you best believe they done. Bill O'Brien, just go ahead, pack your bags now. I know fans are ready to get him kicked out of here. I know fans are like, listen, I can't wait till Bill O'Brien leaves. But yeah, you go ahead and if it goes south, he's done. So my Chicago Bears, for whatever reason, they signed tight end Jimmy Graham. Look, I don't have an argument with signing tight end Jimmy Graham. I just have an argument of how much we signed him for. Granted, Jimmy Graham put up more offensive yards last year than like the entire tight end offense of the Chicago Bears altogether. So the signing does make sense. Jimmy Graham's a big target. He's going to put up decent numbers. We don't need him to be a superstar, but we do need, we're not expecting him to put up 1,000 yards, but we're expecting him to catch balls. So I think I don't have a problem with it. Just that contract is a little rich for what the Bears are expecting out of Jimmy Graham. Like, seriously, I'm really confused by that. Let's talk about the NFL All Decades team that just got released. There's a lot of good names on that list. These are all future Hall of Famers. LaShawn McCoy, Marshawn Lynch. You had obviously Tom Brady, who's going to go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. Then you had Rob Gronkowski, who's probably going to be one. Remember, that's one of the greatest and dominant tight ends at all time. He did get hurt towards the tail end of his career, but when he was on the field, he was a very dominating force to answer to. So the one thing I have a slight problem with, I have a slight, just a ETBT problem with, and that is I feel like that Drew Brees should have been on the list over Aaron Rodgers. We can't kick Tom Brady off the list, but we definitely I think Drew Brees just was an overall better quarterback in the last decade. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read some of his stats right now that I got pulled up here. So Drew Brees in the last, if you look at his stats in the last 10 years, the man, outside of the 2 years that he's gotten hurt, 2019, 2018, 2 years out of the decade, the man has never thrown for under 3,000 yards. In fact, he has thrown for over 5,000 yards in his 2016 season, his 2013 season, his 2012 season, his 2011 season. So that's 4 seasons out of the decade that he's thrown for over 5,000 yards, which is amazing for any quarterback. Granted, yes, we are airing it out a lot more than we used to, but 5,000 yards is still a lot for this day and age. So, and then on top of that, his quarterback rating only dropped under 100 3 times in this past decade. So I feel like, and then Drew Brees has had a lot more playoff appearances. So I think that Drew Brees should honestly be on this list over Aaron Rodgers. That's my opinion, and I know people can argue. I mean, we're really splitting hairs. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. Aaron Rodgers obviously has had a very good career. He's dominated the division. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers should have. I think Drew Brees should have it over Aaron. And Antonio Brown recently, he wanted to get teamed up back up with Tom Brady, and Bruce Arians said, "No way, no how." Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all the real reason why Antonio Brown is not going to play in the NFL again. The real reason is when Antonio Brown was doing his thing, he insulted the most powerful owner in the NFL, and that was Robert Kraft. Listen, when you talk trash about the most powerful owner in the NFL, you're done. You're done. Listen, if you don't work out with the Patriots, you ain't working out with nobody, because New England has found a way to take guys and tame them, even if it's only for a year or two. It's bad when you are a top 5 wide receiver. Listen, and people forget, Antonio Brown, when last he played in a full season in 2018, Antonio Brown was considered a top 5 wide receiver, if not the best wide receiver in the NFL. And when you have that kind of talent, owners are willing to put up with a little bit of your craziness, just a little bit. But when you have that kind of talent and owners don't want to put up with you, GMs are like, you're not worth the headache, you're done. And when Antonio Brown talked about Robert Kraft, that's a wrap. That's the one person in the NFL you can't talk about. You cannot go after the most powerful man in the NFL, the most influential owner in the NFL. He did that. Done. So I'm telling you right now, Antonio Brown is done. So that wraps up our season. That wraps up. It feels like that wraps up our season with COVID-19 going on. But no, that wraps up my show right now. Please, if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. And if you guys have any ideas, please let me know, because I want to produce this content for you guys. So, but next week, we're going to have another Uplift Fan Friday. This is just going to be for the general fan base, because we have no sports. Until then, I will catch you guys later.